Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. As you might have gathered by the title, I am building a Prinz Eugen-like heavy cruiser in this scenario. The scenario was sent in by Yamato, and the story goes that you are sent out to escort a battleship back home, but he got attacked and sunk, so you went to his position to rescue the crew. Later, a convoy was spotted and you decided to take revenge and went on the attack. The title is Raid of Revenge. So let's see what I can do with the game as far as building a Prinz Eugen goes. Prinz Eugen is in Admiral Hipper Class, and this means that it has a displacement, according to Wiki, that is of 18,710 tons. So let's say 18,750. The ship was supposedly having a possible speed of 32 knots. Let's say range is long for this cruiser, and I'm going to go with many bulkheads, not maximum. Propulsion was done by 3 steam turbines. I don't know if these are steam turbines or geared steam turbines. It says steam turbines, but beyond that, I don't really know. It does say an amount of ship horsepower. The engine power is 140,000, and I think that lines up pretty well with the propulsion that's on the wiki that says 135,619 shaft horsepower. If I were to switch this over to geared steam turbines, no, it doesn't do anything for the engine power, which makes my engine about 700 tons lighter. Now, she was using, as far as fuel, I think oil. It's not really listed there. Let's say she had forced boilers, and as for, well, auxiliary engines. It is a German ship from 1937, so let's say it had a turboelectric drive 1. And she supposedly had three three-blade propellers. Let's say it's an advanced propeller shaft. Maximum armor, barbette, standard, anti-torpedo 2, double hull bottom, reinforced bulkheads 1. I'm not going to make it super heavy. Anti-float 1, and a turtleback armor scheme. Okay, what else? The ship had 8 8-inch guns in a dual type 2 setup. So 4 barrels front, 4 barrels aft. It is German. So let's make it a stereoscopic rangefinder 5 and generation 1 radar. Acoustics, sonar 2. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Germans mostly used lighter shells, but I'm not 100% on that. But let's just try that for this scenario, because what I'm trying to take down is 2 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 10 transports. Propellant, I'm going to go 2 powder because it offsets the lack of penetration from the light shells. And then for reloading, let's say semi-auto loader with electrical turrets. Okay, time to build the ship. It's not going to be easy to fit all those turrets on here. Let's shift it forward a bit more. Okay, so she had 8 8-inch guns. That's a 2 and 2 setup. And that's a 2 and 2 setup. 4 weight offsets 2%, but we are not done building the ship, so it's probably not going to be a problem. Now, as for the funnel setup, let's have a look. Judging by the design, I'm only seeing 1 funnel. And I think the mega funnel would line up the best. An uber funnel is too big. Engine efficiency, 100%. Okay, so that will do. Now, of course, the ship didn't just have those 8-inch guns. She also had 12 10.5 centimeter guns, which is 4-inch guns. So that, I suppose, is 3 duels side by side. 1, 2, 3. That's my 12 4-inch guns. And then she had 12 1.5-inch guns. Let's upgrade those to 2-inch barrels. If she had 12, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 3 on the other side. So that should fix that. Belt, 2.8 to 3.1 inches of armor. Whoops. I can only go as low as 4 inches, and that's with an armor quality of 110%. So effectively, it's about 8.8, yeah, 8 to 8.8 inches of armor. Set the belt extended to 4. What about deck armor? 0.79 to 1.97 inches. Yikes. I can go as low as none. None is really, really low. Let's set it to 2 inches. And 2 inches on the deck extended. Now, did she have torpedo tubes? She did. She had 12 21-inch torpedo tubes. Let me check where they were. Alright, based on what I'm seeing on the schematics / side profile for the Admiral Hipper, she had a couple of torpedo tubes closer to her bow, so let's say in this sector over here. And then she had another triple, well, preferably here. But that's not going to be possible because I'm already using quite a lot of the hull. Let's see, would I fit a triple in here? I could put it there. Can I still move the superstructure farther forward? Or the secondary tower farther back? Because if I can generate a bit of space there, then I might get the room that I need. So I would then have my triple torpedo launcher sitting here. And another one doesn't want to. I was going to say sitting there. This 4-inch doesn't really want to move. And I'm really limiting field of fire here with this 4-inch. If I put this one here... No. The 4-inch just gets in the way. Alright, then let's go for a slightly more aesthetically pleasing setup. We're gonna have... Yeah, see, that's the problem. Based on what I'm seeing, she had one set of 4-inch guns closer to the bow, and then 2 sets closer to each other. So maybe I need to swap these things around. And then I can have my torpedo tube sitting down there in the middle, which would give her excellent angles on those torpedoes over there. Why is my starboard weight offset so bad? Oh. Okay, try again. So one triple would go over there. I would have another 4-inch gun sitting over there. And then I would ideally have the torpedo tube sitting in between these two, but that's never going to fit. So I'm going to have to take some creative liberties and put those torpedo tubes over there. Now ideally I would rotate them and have them positioned like that. I'm not sure if these things want to turn, because they seem to be pretty much jammed into the superstructure as it is. So it's going to be an interesting challenge to see if they actually want to work. Tell you what, I'll keep this sector, the starboard launcher, as it is, and I'll keep the port launcher as it is, and we'll see which launcher actually wants to fire. Now there's a slight aft weight offset. 0.9, that's not too bad. Can I still shift that back? Yep, 0.1. I actually have a little bit of displacement left. What am I going to do with that? I don't want to tack on too much more armor. I can go for reinforced bulkheads too and increase the anti-flooding system. I could even potentially go for a triple hull. Anti-torpedo can be upped, but that's really gonna weigh in quickly. Maybe increase the range? I know that range is entirely optional, but I'm just trying to fit this ship out with that displacement that I have available. Let's say she had a good radio direction finding system. There we go, now we're getting closer. Maybe an increased complement of shells, which will put her at 405 rounds per gun. That's pretty significant. 2 powder. Oh, the torpedoes need to be bigger. That's the problem. The torpedoes should be 21-inch. And I'm not exactly sure what sort of torpedoes those are supposed to be. What sort of propulsion. Alright, I did some research I'm assuming that the Prinz Eugen and the Hipper class at large had the G7A class torpedoes, which means they would have decalin propulsion. That's not quite electric, as navwebs.com says. The torpedo was significantly more resource intensive, man hours intensive than what it took to produce the electric G7E. So this torpedo, by contrast, does not seem to be electric. So I'm going to say it's an oxygen-fueled torpedo. And this means that these torpedoes now have a range of 21.8. They're not terribly visible, they have a decent speed, and they take about 10 minutes to reload. So I better be careful. Alright, let's go take on some light cruisers with the Hipper. Sorry, with the, the Prinz Eugen. Alright, 2 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 10 transports. Judging by the profile on these DDs, I can already see 4 funnels. And I think that this down here might be a torpedo launcher. And there might be another torpedo launcher on the stern. The light cruiser seems to have 1, 2, 3 guns, 1 funnel emplacement, another turret setup, and 2 turrets on the bow. So it's very gun heavy. Let's see, the enemy's to the north. Let's head there at best speed. Ah, I didn't fix the name. It shouldn't be Friedrich Karl. It should be Prinz Eugen. Alright. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I was just a second too late apparently with turning off the torpedoes as the ship detected a contact. Hello? Probably a light cruiser. And immediately dropped torpedoes in the water from the starboard volley. So that teaches me that the starboard launcher indeed does work. And it seems like the port launcher has turned somewhat. Let's have the Eugen make a starboard turn. I don't believe I have been spotted yet, at least not according to the report. Now I'm also torpedoing in this direction to make sure that the transports have something else to worry about. It is not just the light cruisers which are out there. There we go. I quite like the look of this ship. What have we spotted here? Transports indeed. So I'm looking deep. Instead of just trying to hit the light cruisers here, I'm trying to hit the transports instead. I am officially in my range of my 8-inch guns. And they have been opening up. But really, my chances of hitting a light cruiser inside a smokescreen with the light cruiser probably doing maximum speed are fairly low. So I'm not really expecting any hits early on. Let's just have the ship work for a while. I think that these 4-inch guns over here can have a pretty good forward firing potential, especially this one. This one's slightly less so, as it seems to be right next to a crane. And this one seems almost tucked into the superstructure over here. I think it has a pretty good potential. The chance to hit is locked in at 2.3%. I still want to get a bit closer to that light cruiser, but not too much actually. Because if they are indeed those gun-heavy cruisers, then it's going to be bad news for me. If they have torpedoes, it's going to be worse. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turrets, 2 guns each. 5 or 6 inch? Definitely not 7, not 8. No visible torpedo launchers. As long as I keep this thing bow in, it won't be able to fire all of these guns on the stern. They're trying to line up, but they haven't quite got the angle. Alright, any sight of the torpedoes yet? Yeah, here's the first salvo, here's the second. I don't really expect them to hit the light cruisers though. Especially not this guy, he's already way past that target. But these, not so much. Those are definitely at risk. Let's see, where did the 4-inch open up? Pretty close, 8.6 kilometers out. So this guy's coming in. Oh, looks like it bounced off. Interesting use of smoke, trying to get closer to my ship. Because I don't know if I would want to get closer in a light cruiser. For the simple reason that I am also going to be much more likely to get hit. And I got hit by 8-inch guns, it's not going to be pleasant for my light cruiser. So far, however, I've only scored 1 hit, and that was the ricochet that I just captured. That I just showed you. Identification is halfway done. Accuracy is still going up. Oh, hold on, he's turning to port. I have 1,500 rounds. I can keep this up all day, and the 4-inch are also working. I just wonder what the efficacy of the 4-inch is going to be. Because we're fighting this ship at 8-kilometer range. So it doesn't even have 4-inch belt penetration yet. However, I don't know what I'm targeting. How much armor this thing is supposedly having. I don't like this turn, though. It's almost like they're trying to turn to port so they can get torpedoes off. Let's have this ship turn out. Let's make sure that I'm not where they think the torpedoes might go. Oh, hold on. They might be avoiding my torpedoes. Even though this ship is definitely not at risk from getting hit by these, they might, if they maneuver poorly, get hit by those. So maybe it's not so much that they're trying to drop torpedoes as that they're trying to avoid mine. Scored exactly 2 hits, 1 with the 4-inch. I've taken a scratch of damage. I've been hit, but it barely did anything, just 0.4. Now it's going to be... Hold on. That B turret, Bruno, just turned right through the superstructure. This still needs to improve. Look at the angle the ship's making, though. %92 identification. It is very appealing to try and push in, but I think it is not the right choice for me just yet. I first want to do a bit more damage against these light cruisers, and if they indeed have fast-firing 5-inch guns, then I don't want to be anywhere near that. 6-inch guns, even. Reload, 10.9 seconds. We are fighting at about 10 clicks, and that means that they have a 4.1-inch penetration potential. At this point, I think we're firing at each other's belt armor instead of each other's deck armor. So that means that I probably won't be at risk from those light cruisers. If I oh, hello. He derped hard and ran into 2 of the torpedoes. Looks like the ship's flooding very quickly. Now, if this is a sister ship to the Psyche has maximum bulkheads, but if you get a light cruiser hit with 2 torpedoes, then she sinks very quickly. Alright, Psyche just took her first hit. Right there. Once the light cruisers are dead, I'm having a bit of an easier time. But there are still 3 DDs around. But this is a good start. Are those torpedoes still going? They hit this ship. I am over here, but I started making my turn and I came back from here. So the torpedoes should be... There they are. There and there. Torpedoes are not at risk of hitting the transports. Or maybe it's the other way around. The transports are not at risk getting hit by the torpedoes. Next volley is ready. Launching torpedoes at destroyers is a waste of my time. But I might be able to send them to the transports instead. There we go. Especially with those long running torpedoes and transports generally not being able to get out of the way fast enough. think we can make some casualties there. Psyche seems to have a flooding problem. The DDs, once again, are making a mistake. They should be pushing in, not staying at range. I think I sunk a transport. Something is flooding. I can't even see it. I imagine it's a transport somewhere over there, where the torpedoes were still going to. Psyche is once again vaping. Putting up her smoke screen. Chance to pen's probably not great. It's 60%. And the ship is turning to starboard to try and get all her guns out. That's a mistake, because it's lowering my ricochet chance. So by doing that, you're actually making my job easier. And since she has no torpedoes, I can pretty safely push in, especially if I stay bow in for a while. Even at this range though, a little under 6, my accuracy is only 3%. On the other hand, I only need to hit the Psyche once or twice properly before she's going to go down. Still haven't taken any serious damage. DDs over here have been identified. Range of torpedoes is 12.9. We got the Acheron, the Brisk, and another DD. None of them have fired torpedoes yet, even though they're in range. I'm going to make myself a smaller target and a more difficult to predict target by heading away from them. Oh, they just launched. Acheron launched. Brisk hasn't launched yet. But that might have to do with the angle. We're still trying to land hits on the Psyche. The stern turrets are indeed on the right position. I have sonar 2. Yeah. So I'll be able to detect torpedoes pretty early on. Accuracy is still fairly lackluster. What's the Psyche doing? She's heading away. Okay. Are those torpedoes arriving yet? Look at this. This is a disaster waiting to happen. I've been doing my fair share of maneuvering. Here. 2, 2, and 2. It's a very widespread. Oh. Good damage on the Psyche. Looked like I hit her in the stern. Stern belt extended. Penetration. With an 8-inch and a 4-inch shell. Of course, the 8-inch shell does way more damage. Psyche is now flooding. I know these things have maximum bulkheads. They have anti-flood too. So they'll be able to fight the flooding a bit. But right now it seems that the flooding is not even that serious yet. So I don't think that ship's too concerned. Let's see, are these things visible? Minus 70% detection. Okay, that could be a problem. Your range was 12 something, right? 12.9. Can I outrun them? At 9 clicks? Just head straight away from them. Brisk hasn't launched. Neither has Saber. Probably because the AI has already calculated that by the time that those torpedoes catch up with my ship, they're doing 37 knots, I'm doing 32 at best. And she accelerated really quick to that 32. That the torpedoes simply won't hit. That's my estimation anyway. The Psyche seems unable to fire. Oh, she keeps doing loops. And that's why her guns aren't on target. But they are now. There we are. I'm opening up broadside at 6 kilometers out. Those 6-inch guns could start to be a problem. They have a penetration at 5 clicks of about 9-inch. Which is more than I have belt armor. My accuracy, though, is still dreadful. The Psyche, however, continues to maneuver and keeps throwing off her own aim. Idiot. No, actually safe. No, not safe, actually save. I want to try and land a torpedo against that group. No? Okay, only on normal will she launch. So another salvo with 6 torpedoes out. We only have 12 left. But so far we've already landed 3 torpedoes, causing the damage and demise of one light cruiser and a transport. Psyche is now again flooding in her bow. Nothing really that serious. Where is she? Here. I don't get why the AI insists on constantly doing donuts, because it seems like she's just constantly circling, but because of it, she's making it very difficult for herself. Because while the ship continues to turn very quickly with a turning circle of 459 meters, the guns, they don't keep up. Her guns are electrical turrets, so they're pretty quick. But she keeps doing this. Bingo. Flooding, this time on her stern. I was hoping to also see damage on the rudder there, to make sure she doesn't keep doing those wild maneuvers and making it very difficult for her to land the hits. DDs. Range of 10-6. The DDs, I'm not sure if they're running away or trying to draw me away. Whatever the plan is, it's not very successful, as long as their plan, or part of their objective I imagine, is to try and defeat my cruiser before I start taking chunks out of their transports. Which at this rate is definitely happening, because I don't have to worry about the destroyers at all. These guys are good at detecting torpedoes with sonar 3. And I think I have outrun their torpedoes by turning away and making myself a small target. They are technically still in range, but they're not torping. They don't have a lot of ammo left anyway. That's a lot of guns. Oh, I misidentified this gun earlier and said it was a torpedo tube, but the torpedo tube is only there on the stern. Now, it might seem that this scenario is a bit unbalanced, but if I had been given a couple of destroyers and 2 light cruisers, I could probably take down a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser. Sure, I would lose a ship, probably 2, maybe even 3, but I would get it done. But the AI is once again just running off and making my job a lot easier because of it. Once again, Psyche is flooding. Now we're taking rudder damage on the Psyche. Excellent. That means that maneuverability is going out the window. She has a top speed of 31, but she's only doing 27.6 due to battle damage. My accuracy is now going up. Once the light cruiser is gone, I can fully focus on sinking all the transports. Now, this scenario didn't really have any win or lose conditions, but I'm assuming that if I sink the light cruisers and sink all their transports, I will have won the scenario. The DDs are now, interestingly, trying to engage me with their 5-inch guns. And they have put me on fire once or twice. But that's all that they've been able to do so far. Another flooding. See how buoyant that ship is. Yes, she's flooding, but it's not serious. Another flooding. Another fire. Accuracy is now climbing rapidly because we're only doing 3.9 clicks out, and she's slowing. 25.2, 25.1. She's taken on quite a bit of water now. I torpedo this guy. Suffolk. I'm not even sure. Maybe I just torpedoed 2 different targets, because the spread's a bit wide. That'd be great. I could have a torpedo landing on the Spear, and maybe another one on the Suffolk, and if I get really lucky, another one on the Sunfish back there. Let's just charge down those transports. Again, the AI needs work not just on their ability to make the destroyers attack, but also, whoa, that was deadly, on their ability to get these transports out of here. Because these guys have a speed of 12.5. Yes, they would not be able to outrun my ship, granted. But they would definitely be able to do... They'd be able to do 12 knots and move away from me. They're not even doing that. The Quail... Let's see, any of these transports. 8 knots, 10 knots. Quail, 0 knots, 8 knots, 6 knots. If you have a heavy cruiser charging you down, you don't just sit there like a lamb ready to get slaughtered. You move. This is also why I've been lately avoiding the scenarios where I have transports. Because I cannot control the transports. And I do like just having control over my own ships. Putting the 4 and the 2-inch on the Quail here. She's taking a lot of damage. Look at that. Let's have a closer look at that small arms fire, or smaller fire. This is what the Prinz Eugen / Admiral Hipper is fantastic at. Just chasing down cruisers. Had those destroyers charged me, or even been hiding among the transports, I would have had a big problem. It'd have been a challenge. At the same time, they wouldn't really be able to torp. They probably wouldn't want to try and torpedo me, because simply hitting their own ships is usually enough for the AI to go, eh, maybe better not to fire. I'm actually hitting the wrong target. I'm trying to hit the Psyche, but a shell veered off course and hit the Legion. Did the Victorious get hit by a torpedo? Yes, she did. Not so victorious then, are you? Quail is heavily flooding. He's listing to starboard a bit. The deck's awash slightly. This is something else I think can use work in this game, in its current state. The way the ship has flooded, I can't see if it's the port or the starboard side, but I imagine it's the starboard side, because that's where I've been hitting the ship. Instead, she's dipping to port. Now, there could be an explanation in the form that the shells actually penetrate through the side and out the other, and that they're causing, I don't know, more flooding here. Maybe that's why the ship is lagging over, or listing over to the port side. Oh, sorry, she is listing to starboard. Still, that's the same situation, but in reverse. I'm expecting the ship, if she starts taking hits here, to start listing to that side. But okay, let's assume that the starboard side filled up faster. The way that I'm doing damage to this ship, if I'm interpreting this correctly, is the bow side. So I imagine that the bow is lower than the stern. But the way that the ship is currently portrayed, the whole ship is listing to starboard. So I'm not exactly sure how or where the exact damage is that I've been doing. Looks like the Psyche is still not very interested in getting hit. So let's instead use those 8-inch guns on the Victorious. There's Quail down. This is just murder. Plain and simple. This is revenge for them sinking the Bismarck. Taking shots at the Fawn while using the main armament on the Victorious. I could even, if I really wanted to, use the torpedoes, but I'm kind of keeping those in reserve. Fawn is on fire in multiple locations. She's not trying to return fire, but the Legion is with a 4-inch gun. Victorious, I think, will flood out. Yep, she's gone. Main armament on the Fawn, secondary armament on the Rattlesnake, maintain course. Accuracy 67% instantly. Stern gun still reloading. Full salvo ready in about 5 seconds. And the ship has automatically selected the high explosive shells for this target. Rattlesnake is taking damage. Just imagine being aboard this ship. And that is coming down to chase you. I would not want to be aboard one of these freighters in World War II. Absolutely not. Just a sitting duck. Not so much that the heavy cruisers or the light cruisers were very safe. I mean, every ship could get attacked. But the way that the ships were just constantly harassed, either by, well, a cruiser, which I believe is pretty rare, or by U-boats. No thank you. And just the sheer randomness of it as well. It could happen to anybody. You could be on any of these transports and suddenly get hit by a torpedo from a U-boat. I know they're not in the game yet. From what I've been hearing, there will be submarines in the final version of the game. They're not in here yet. Okay, main armament on the Psyche. I should now get very good accuracy versus Psyche, because she's only 3.3 clicks out. 27% chance to hit. Psyche has slowed down significantly with engine damage, and she's not very maneuverable with rudder damage. She's down to 16 knots. That's actually pretty slow, considering she has, well, now she has 2 damaged engines, but she did have 1 damaged engine not too long ago. Rattlesnake burning from stem to stern. And it's all secondary armament that's hitting this ship. She's been hit 218 times out of the 232 times that were shot at her. 95% accuracy with secondaries. Looks like Psyche is flooding more. There's another fire. Oh. I don't quite recall allowing torpedoes, but I must have misclicked at some point. Alright, sinking, sinking, sunk, main guns, Suffolk, secondary guns, Legion. I should do it in reverse, actually. Because this ship's closer, and thus takes more damage. At least from the secondaries. The closer you are, the better it is. Just the more pen you have. Not that these need any pen. Nice cruiser, this one. Really like the Friedrich Karl. And the DDs? Still minding their own business, 13 clicks away. This is another reason why this game could use multiplayer. Because it just feels... It can feel quite easy fighting the AI like this. All I did was torpedo a light cruiser, kite against the DDs, and normally when you kite something it actually chases you down, but the DDs weren't even doing that properly. And then charged into the convoy. And the DDs are just, I don't know, 12 clicks out. It's like they don't dare get any closer. Or the AI's borked and going, okay, no, never mind, they're just already inside the transport. I cannot torpedo anyway, which is the main weapon for the transport, for the DDs. So I'm not going to try and charge in there. Whereas if this was multiplayer, I would like to try this scenario against somebody else who has the game. I think it'd be great if I could try and take on a fleet / ships designed by, for example, Everyday's Different. Or by History Guy Gaming. If I would have had one heavy cruiser and they would have had the destroyers, the convoy and the light cruisers, preferably with the transports actually being controllable, instead of just being pushovers like they are now, this could have been a very interesting scenario. And another feature that I would love to see is a replay feature. So that you could just get a constant rolling replay of what's going on. And that you can see after the match what happened. You can just watch the match back with a simple play button, fast forward, reverse, stuff like that. Anyway, it is still early access. A Steam version is coming soon, / might already be out by the time that you're watching this. And of course the game is going to continue to develop. For now anyway, I'd say that the Prinz Eugen / Admiral Hipper, depending on how you want to look at the ship, has performed very nicely. Hope you enjoyed the scenario. Let me know what your thoughts are on the game and how it could be made better. And I shall see you guys soon for another video.